Passive information gathering. Beginning a career in ethical hacking and/or penetration testing can be very exciting, and most of the time, our minds will be a bit overwhelmed, causing us to visit only the lectures about explaining a system in a course such as this. However, conducting a penetration test is like a starting new project at home. Before you build a pool in your backyard, there are few things you must consider, such as the space that's available, the cost of materials, the contractors, fees, and other details. Information gathering is a very important phase of the hacking life cycle and penetration testing. In this lecture, we will focus, actually, not in this lecture, in this section, it will be, I think, 4 or 5 lectures, we will focus on passive information gathering techniques and methods. We will learn how to use the internet to get us the information and specific details we need about our target by using both online and tools on Kali Linux. We will be covering in this lecture like reconnaissance and footprinting, understanding passive information gathering, understanding open source intelligence, using the top, we will use the top open source intelligence tools, identify the target technologies and security controls, finding leaks in cloud resources, understanding who is and copying websites with HTTP track, and find subdomains using sublister and other topics we will cover here. So we have some technical requirements in this section of our course here. The first, we need Kali Linux here. This is the technical requirements, so software requirements for to complete this lecture, this section of our course successfully. The first, you need Linux, Kali Linux, Maltego, ReconNG, like the harvester, like OCR framework. We will download all of it. Framework here, HT track, like S3 scanner, and sublister here. Reconnaissance and footprinting. The various phases of hacking include reconnaissance, scanning, gaining access, maintaining access, and clearing tracks. So the reconnaissance phase is the most important phase of penetration test, since this is when the ethical hacker or penetration tester conducts extensive research into gathering as much information about the target as possible. Furthermore, footprinting will help create a profile of the target, gathering profiling information such as running services, open ports, and operating system. We will now look at both reconnaissance and footprinting in more detail. Reconnaissance here. From a military perspective, reconnaissance is the observation and research of an enemy target. In cybersecurity, as a penetration tester, we use various tools and techniques to gather detailed information about the target organization and its underlying infrastructure. Reconnaissance is vital in the field of penetration testing. As a penetration tester, we definitely need to know about our target as well as its vulnerabilities and operating systems before we attempt to gain access via exploitation, of course. The information gathered during the reconnaissance phase will help us to choose the right tools and techniques to successfully exploit the target. Reconnaissance can be divided into 2 categories. The first is passive reconnaissance and active. So passive reconnaissance uses an indirect approach and does not engage to target. But active reconnaissance is directly engages to the target to gather specific details. Footprinting we have here. The footprinting is the procedure whereby as much information as possible is gathered in relation to target. In footprinting, the objective is to obtain specific details about the target, such as its operating systems and service versions of running applications. Footprinting. So the information that's collected can be used in various ways to gain access to the target system, network, or organization. Footprinting allows a penetration tester to understand the security posture of the target infrastructure, quickly identify security vulnerabilities on the target system and networks, and create a network map of the organization and reduce the area of focus to the specific IP addresses, domain names, and the types of devices regarding which information is required. Footprinting is a part of the reconnaissance phase. However, since footprinting is able to provide more specific details about the target, we can consider footprinting to be a subset of the reconnaissance phase. So, there are the main objectives of footprinting, which is collecting network information, info here, like domain names, IP addresses, and network protocols here. And second is the collecting system information, collecting system information here, like user and group names, like routing table, system names and types. And lastly is the collecting organization information here, like for example employee details, company directory, and location details. To successfully obtain about a target, I will recommend using the footprinting methodology like that. For example, checking search engines, check Yahoo, Bing, and Google, perform Google hacking. This is not a bad thing, just an advanced Google search technique. Advanced Google search technique. Here, and now like info gathering through social media, like Facebook, LinkedIn, for Instagram, and Twitter, of course. And footprinting the company's website, so you can footprint company's website with applications as well. Footprint company's website. Perform email footprinting techniques. We will discuss all about, you will learn how to perform these footprinting techniques later. This is just the introduction course of our section. Use the who is command here. Perform DNS footprinting and network, use accurate network footprinting techniques, and use social engineering, the most important. So you are now able to differentiate between reconnaissance and footprinting. Both reconnaissance and footprinting are required during penetration testing, as each provides vital information about the target. In the next lecture, we will take a deep dive into passive information gathering.